So our goal was to be able to take a car-like experience and turn it into a bicycle. This will go any place a bicycle can go. All bicycles can ride on many streets, all secondary roads and things like that. It's like a car, except that it's 160 pounds, so it's a car that you can actually pedal. And the nice thing about it, when you're zooming along somewhere, you can go point to point. You can go door to door. Just pull up right up to the building and park it in the bike rack up front.
So do you get the seat where you want?
Play tight here in the parking lot.
Hop in. So take the big step over the boom there. Yep. So just slide the seat up. So go ahead and put your feet on the pedals and then pedal them backwards to make sure you got the right leg adjustment. So that looks pretty good. Just make sure you keep your feet on the pedals. So this is the rear brake. This is the shifter for the pedaling. It's a continuously variable transmission, so it's very, very smooth. Here's the bell for pedestrians. Here's the majority of the braking. This is both front wheels and it has a built-in parking brake. Pin it down like that. And this is the throttle. Is that okay?
Yep.
Keep your feet on the pedals and you drive it like a little car, not too fast around the turns. People riding bikes, that's great. But for everybody that doesn't like to ride in bad weather, or for people that are really comfortable in their car, this is something to tow them out of their car. It might be bad weather, it might be too hot, or it might be too wet and cold or frozen, and they hop in the Elf and it's not so bad. In fact, they're enjoying themselves.
Nice breeze today, beautiful.
I'm not here.
You go. One of the cool things is they can pull right alongside of us because we only take up like a car's width, you know?
I don't
So
know
it's
if
kind of
you're
sociable. How you doing?
So we think of the Elf as like an urban kayak. You know, you kind of zip in and out of traffic, you go up and down hills, just having fun as you're commuting.
Yeah.
Everything like a kayak or like a light aircraft is really, really about efficiency. So we have built something that has to be durable, that all people, sizes and shapes should be able to get in and use it in city traffic. There are velomobiles out there. There are electric vehicles out there and golf carts, but there's nothing made like this. There's nothing made nearly as efficient as this. And I can tell you part of it, it's not that easy to build.
So this is the factory. This is where it all happens. This is where we have them ready to go out for shipping. We ship them around the world. It all started back in the 80s. My husband and I, we were living in California, and he became very interested in human-powered vehicles, which are basically just bicycles covered in a shell. They were doing over 60 miles an hour back in the 80s.
I was working for Porsche in Southern California, and not too far away from me, a gentleman, Dr. Paul MacCready, was building pedal-powered aircraft. So this is like in the late 70s, early 80s. And I just became so fascinated with the aspect of someone pedaling and flying. It just so blew me away. So I started getting involved with that technology. I joined the International Human-Powered Vehicle Association and realized that if we can make vehicles go highway speeds with fractional horsepower, everything we're doing is wrong. That's just sucked me away from the conventional automobile world, and I got into composite construction and aerodynamics and fabricating plastics, vacuum forming and blow molding and things like that.
We were always fascinated by it, but then we became involved with, just raising a family and making a living, and it didn't seem like there was any way to make a living off of this.
I consulted for a while. I built cool vehicles and things. But around the 90s, they became less attractive regarding efficiency. People were more interested in minivans and SUVs and things. Time goes by, And then I was consulting for New York City bike sharing about 7 years ago and realized if New York City's putting in 300 miles of new bike trails, there's a market for vehicles like this. Bicycles that could get people up the hills easier, get them out of the weather, be safer, not tip over, carry passengers, carry a payload, have turn signals, brake lights, all those things. And just started going in that direction from that point on.
About 3 years ago, he said, I'm going to do this for a living. And I was like, are you kidding me? I really was like, I don't know, we're in our 50s and you want to start a business now? And he said, yeah, I do. And I said, okay. He wanted to make something like, these are great, but these are for young, athletic men. That they go really fast in them. He wanted to make something that even like a little old lady could ride, or a mom with her kids in the back with groceries. And so basically, he wanted to make something to fill the space between a car and a bike. A lot of times we're in our car and we're sitting there, we're not going that fast. So this is legally an electric bike.
We start out with the bare frame. We use very, very heavy-duty bicycle components, things from not just mountain bikes, but downhill racing bikes.
It's all bicycle parts, or mostly?
No. So bicycle parts are for the bicycle components. This is the brain box. That's our components. That's controllers and DC to DC converters and solar converters and all those things, blinkers and stuff. That's unique to an ELF, the brain. The motors, the continuously variable transmission. All those things are rather unique for not just an ELF, but for very specific electric bikes.
And then when it's done, we put the shell on it. And the shells are over there, and those are made by a kayak company.
So this is the Trilon shell. This is like similar to kayak material. It's very, very thin and very, very rugged. It's UV resistant, so it has an acrylic cap and an ABS underside, and very rugged stuff. And these are all LED lights here. We vacuum form the body and have it all attached. This one doesn't have the solar panel on it yet, but for us the solar panel is structure. In addition to providing a power for the battery, it's also the roof. So everything we do on an ELF to make it as efficient as it possibly can be, many things serve multiple purposes.
To keep it lightweight?
Keep it lightweight, to keep the cost down, to keep it lower in maintenance, to keep it really efficient. For instance, there's no paint anywhere on an ELF. No spray booths, no volatile organic compounds. We just use 6061 aircraft aluminum and we brush it, give it a texture, and that's it. We leave it like that. All the hardware is all stainless steel, so very little corrosion. Most of the hardware is 4, 5, and 6 millimeter Allen head bolts. So just a couple of wrenches and you can put all this together.
How is this different from an electric assisted bike? I mean, obviously it looks different with the frame, but as far as the components go.
It's a lot more like a car. For instance, here's 2 front wheels. What does that mean? That means 2 disc brakes. That means a wheel alignment. That means a steering assembly. All these things radically change compared to a bicycle. But everything like a kayak or like a light aircraft is really, really about efficiency. The kayak part is mostly about the body. The frame part is more like aircraft. We do use some electrical components that would be like from the RC industry, remote control industry, the small electric motors, the controllers, things like that. That's a continuously variable transmission, and that's a DC, a super efficient motor. That's 1 horsepower, 750 watts.
Okay, you can hop in the back there with your sister. Okay, here we go.
And so this is really done to be super, super efficient, and that's how we come up with the 1,800 mile per gallon equivalent.
You ready? Okay, we're gonna go faster. Okay, here we go.
Of course, we don't burn any regular fuel. And if you live in a very sunny place, you can do most of your traveling by way just from the solar.
So this is a solar panel on top. This is a 100-watt solar panel that's attached to your battery. You can see that the batteries are stored up between the pedals.
And the battery also comes out and you can plug it in to any outlet. And the solar panel, depending on where you live and how close to the sun it is, takes about 8 hours to charge.
We didn't want to build something that's going to be the fastest.
Have fun. So you going with me?
We built something that thousands of people could hop in and go.
This is the electric assist. This is what is going to make it go 20 miles an hour. And this is a gear. And it has 40 speeds. So it's like when you're shifting gears on a bicycle, only much, much, much smoother. And this is the directionals. This is the horn. This is the horn. And so the most important thing, remember, always keep your feet on the pedals. That's very important. So we have toe clips and stuff so people don't forget. Okay, so I let off the brake. Make sure you have it turned on. And this one has a cycle analyst, which tells you how charged up the battery is, and it's going to let us know how fast we're going. So I just let off the emergency brake, and just your weight and my weight just makes it go. So now I'm pedaling, so I've got your weight and my weight. That's a little heavy. So I'm not that strong. I need some electric assist right now. So give it the electric assist. Here's the shifter here on my left. And we're going uphill, so I'm going to give it some electric assist. Okay, so then I'm coming to the corner and I just slow down a little. You don't want to careen around the corner, same as if you were on a car or anything. You just want to be logical about it. So now I'm going downhill and I'm changing the gearing right here on the left. And see, I'm just pedaling. I'm not even giving it any electric because your weight and my weight and just the energy of going downhill. So we're doing like 19 right now. Okay, now we're going uphill. I'm still just pedaling. Now I'm shifting the gear so that I'm getting a lot of exercise. Now I definitely need to give it electric assist. According to the federal regulations, electric bikes can go 20 miles per hour if you're using on flat land, if you're using just the electric assist. And so if you're using the electric assist and not pedaling, you'll get 20 miles an hour. If you're pedaling, you're going to go a lot faster than that. Okay. Now I'm just pedaling, and since we're going to be going downhill, we're going to get a lot of speed. I'm not even giving it any electric assist yet. And we're over 20 with me just pedaling. Now I'm changing the gearing. We're still going really good. We're 20. Okay, now I got to give it some electric. When I ride, I'm going up hills and down hills, so I'm probably averaging about 23, which at first I thought, well, that's really slow, but actually it's not. Because most of our trips, if you're going to the grocery store, you're going to church, you're not really going that fast. And the thing is, like, if it would take me 10 minutes to get to the grocery store, now it's taking me 20.
So you're driving on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right in the car lane. You're not on the bike lane or...
Right. I try to be respectful of cars. But I mean, we're in a city environment. You're not going to be going very fast in a city environment anyway. Yeah. So I'm not like holding anybody up or anything. So yeah, I can just be like a car. You can kind of just park it anywhere.
You can just use the sidewalk.
Yeah, you just use the sidewalk to park it. Yeah, or you can park by a bike rack if you want. You don't really need to, yeah. Or you can park it in a car parking space. In a car parking space, you can fit quite a few of them if you turn them on the right angle. You can take them anywhere where you can take a bike. By law, it's a bike. It's an electric bike. So you don't take it on the highways. You can take it on the roads, on a bike path, anywhere where you can take a bike.
It's legally a bicycle, so you can take it on a bike path, park it on sidewalks, no license, registration, insurance. People say, oh, it's so wide. Well, it's only 4 feet wide. And then bicycle trails, if they're ADA compliant, then an elf goes down. The 4 foot is a constraint. It works that way. But also, I think the body part is not to be diminished. Because not only does it give you weather protection, which is the biggest deterrent from people using bicycles, but also it's a protector. We've had 4 elves hit by cars and the people have not been injured. So it's really a great idea to have something between you and a car or whatever you're impacting. And that's what this is. There's also crumple zones in the aluminum and the plastic. So all this aluminum comes out, it stresses the body, and so the car or anything has to impact through that before it gets to you. Of course, it's not a big deal for that to do that, but it's something else to hit before it gets to you.
So you've engineered it sort of with crumple zones, with particularly thinking about that.
Yes. And the distance. Look at the distance between you and, let's say, impact. There's about 16 inches before something gets to you. And we actually had a car went through a stop sign, T-boned the elf directly on the side, and then pushed it for another 30 feet. And if that was a pedestrian, if that was a cyclist, if that was a motorcyclist, they would have been run over. And the elf just kept on sliding along, until the person eventually stopped. And they were completely fine.
You know, we've sold over 700 of them. Okay. And there's been maybe a total of 3 people have gotten in accidents, and they didn't get hurt at all. But there hasn't been too many problems at all because as compared to a bike, in my opinion, because people see this and respect it. They can't not notice it the way on a bike they'll say, oh, I didn't see you. It's for everybody and anybody. You don't have to be in great shape. You don't have to be young. You don't have to be an expert bicyclist.
I don't ride a bike because I don't want to get wet in the rain. And
Right.
You never know when it's going to rain, or I have my laptop.
Yeah, or you'll get all sweaty,
Or
or
when you show up like to work all like drenched.
Right. But this, you can show up to work. If you use just the electric assist, you're not even going to sweat. Although I pedal and I don't really sweat anyway because you're getting the shade and you're getting the breeze coming through.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sweating in it.
Got your pick now.
Yeah.
There's a pretty easy learning curve, so
Yeah.
like even if I'm just pedaling, as long as it's not a hill, it's not so bad. I mean, of course, if you're going downhill, it's helpful, but also like if you're just going on like flat lanes, you have so much kinetic energy.
Okay.
And of course, the electric assist makes it easier as well.
How shall I park?
You notice the difference in the ride?
Yeah.
This is way smoother with them tires.
smoother.
Real smooth. I like this one a lot.
This is a nice one.
Yeah, that's how I would get it right there with those tires. Super smooth.
This one is newer, and so it's really upgraded. This is like our newest model. It just keeps getting a little better and better each time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do an agile design process, actually. Originally, we sold about 50 of them on Kickstarter. We knew we were losing money on each one, but it got 50 units out there and allowed us to get the feedback and make the changes. So since that time, 3 years ago, we've made about 400 changes to the Elf. Many usually subtle changes, little tiny things. Some of them more substantial, like making them a two-seater. You know, the bracing that had to go in to allow to have an additional couple of 100 pounds at the back of the vehicle was significant. But still, it's very, very light, you know.
You know Paul MacCready?
Yeah, he was actually the president of the Human Powered Vehicle Association, the international president. I was the vice president of land. So I got to spend some time with him and learn more about kind of a thinking process, right? It's not just like, oh, I'm going to use this type of solar cell or this type of battery. It's more like, how do you keep seeking out the advantages and efficiency?
So you come down here to the chain tensioner?
Well, everything we do, the goal is to show simplicity, you know, reflect simplicity, but making a simple vehicle is quite a challenge. It takes a long time. But we have multiple vehicles that we'd like to put into the space between a bicycle and a car. So that's like a pedicab version there. So that's still legally a bicycle. Little pickup truck. This also is legally a bicycle. And then this we call the Model B, and that is on the side of a low-speed scooter. So this one can carry like 1,000 pounds, and it can go about 30 miles an hour. And then this is actually a three-wheeled motorcycle, fully enclosed motorcycle. That would be 100 miles an hour, a 250-mile range. Sell for about $22,000 is our projected cost. Here's actually like an industrial Elf here, you know, a little more heavy work. Here's the pedicab taxi version we talked about. This is a concept we developed for the post office. It can carry a pretty sizable load.
Wow. We underestimate then the power of these things.
Right, exactly. I mean, you build a car and it weighs 4,000 pounds and the passenger weighs 200. So the majority of the horsepower is going to move in the vehicle itself. So we build a vehicle where the rider is 200 pounds and the vehicle's under 200 pounds. And so we reduce the size and the weight of the vehicle, and then we can get really, really efficient.
Hi. This is where we started out. We started out in the old bargain furniture store, and it had no heat and no air conditioning and rats, and we were just so thrilled to have a place to get started. It's kind of amazing, it's kind of a miracle that this even happened, because we haven't gotten any government funding or anything. He just saw a need, something that needed to be done, and he said, I'm going to do it. I'm not saying this is the replacement for a car right now. I think someday it will be. I think it's kind of like baby steps, you know what I mean? Right now, people really maybe want their cars for long distances. Like, I haven't given up my car either, but I love my Elf. And I compare it to being like in a horse-drawn carriage, is what it feels like. Even though I've never been in a horse-drawn carriage, it's what I imagine it would be like. The thing is, like, if it would take me 10 minutes to get to the grocery store, now it's taking me 20, and I'm getting in my exercise. I'm so much happier too, because I arrive at the grocery store and I'm in touch with my surroundings as I'm riding this, because it's almost, I compare it to like, it's almost like I'm camping or something, because I can smell, I can see. Driving around my neighborhood, I'm like, oh, I never noticed the flowers in that yard, or things that I would never notice when I'm in my car, different smells, and it's just wonderful.
%90 of car trips have one person in them, and I think like 40% of car trips are going 2 miles. If you just need to get around within a 20-mile circumference, little vehicles like this make a whole lot more sense.
Also lifestyle too.
Absolutely, you know, probably the automobile has been the biggest contributor to human illness. If they can get used to actively moving around all the time, we'll just go straight here. While they're running their chores, while they're going shopping. That's a huge contributor in a long, healthy lifestyle.